Welcome to the Drone Evangelist. Be sure to like, share, and join us for fellowship afterwards. Y'all have a good day. Hey, y'all, welcome back, and it's good to see some familiar faces in the audience. Obviously, we've got Bubba out there.
Amen.
Good to see you too. And today we also have someone new, and it's all the way from quite far away to attend, and it's really appreciated. We have Marcus. That's right. Sorry, there were so many people out in the hallway this morning that it was hard to remember. But Marcus comes all the way from the southern tip of South America, so it's greatly appreciated. Good to have you here. It really is. So we've got today. Oh, and Larry's back. Don't forget to mention Larry. Larry's actually he's been out, as I'd mentioned during a previous sermon, but he's back and he's ticking 100%. And not only that, but he has some good news for us that he wanted me to share, and it's about the construction of the parish hall. The parish hall should be erected within the next few weeks, which means that we will be able to use that for the live component of Drone Evangelist Online. So that ought to be a lot of fun. So stay tuned for more updates for that. But let's go ahead and segue into today's sermon. And again, I don't. It's not in my personal best interest to put stories that are spread among the media outlets into the spotlight. But I do like to use those stories as examples for my sermons. So if you've been on social media, you've turned on that TV, maybe picked up a magazine or a newspaper, you can probably relate to some of the real-world examples that I'm indirectly bringing into the spotlight. Now, again, I'm not bringing them into the spotlight because I don't want to add any more media attention for those inappropriate uses of drones. But what I do want to do, us being fellow drone evangelists and spreading that responsible, safe, and recreational drone use with the masses, I want to just kind of explain some things that we can do to better enable this hobby to continue to exist. Come as you are. I don't care what you're wearing. I'm wearing a cut-off shirt today. But if we're not careful, as hobbyists, we may all be threatened with that orange jumpsuit that says Doc on the back. Don't call me Doc. I'm not a doctor. You see what I'm saying? The media are working to criminalize the drone hobby. Not them themselves, but by sharing these absurd uses of the drone technologies. They're putting that into the spotlight, so it's making, and just a few examples, and people are saying, man, I saw that thing flying over my house, and I pulled out my shotgun and shot at it. Well, that's one of those types of scenarios that it seems to be recurring within the news. People seeing a drone outside and shooting it down or swatting it with some other object. And not to get political with this, because ultimately I'm the drone evangelist. I'm about good and spreading goodness and responsible and safe drone use with the masses. But just looking at it, those are scenarios where they shouldn't occur. Now, obviously, you've always got to hear the entire story. One should listen to the entire story before they jump to assumptions. But the problem is you hear that, and for people that aren't drone hobbyists like you and I, that respect the technology and want to continue to see it evolve, for people that are just watching TV, they're like, I saw another one of those things flying around with the blades on it. Sounds like a bunch of bees. And that's the response that a lot of the viewers in America and Europe and Asia and South America and everywhere, they hear that, and that's the type of reaction they may have, because they see that and they assume that a drone is a bad thing. They know nothing about the hobby. Maybe they would enjoy the hobby, they just haven't been exposed to it, and their only exposure to the hobby has been what they see on the news. So when they're out at the beach or where they're out in another public park or whatever, and they see a drone buzzing nearby, they likely jump to the assumption that, oh, there's someone bad controlling that drone, and they're trying to steal information, and they're trying to take photos that they shouldn't be taking. Now, granted, flying over someone's private property is inappropriate unless one has permission from that property owner, because that's the kind of behavior that makes people dislike drones. But when you're out in a public location, I don't care if I'm using a camcorder, I don't care if I'm using a point-and-shoot camera, a camera phone. You're taking a picture of an environment, you're doing your own thing. So what if you have a drone and you're like, man, look at that, look at that bird out there over the water. I want to go out there and get a close-up picture of it. There's nothing wrong with flying out and getting a picture of that bird. What's wrong with that? But see, that's the mentality that the media are injecting into the minds of many. Because you're out on that beach in a safe and responsible location, people at a safe distance, and there's nothing in the water that's going to interfere with the flight to and from that bird. The bird's at a safe distance. You don't want to harm nature. But that person standing beside you starts to raise a ruckus. And you're like, yeah, you got one of those things. What are you trying to do with that? Are you trying to get a pictures of private stuff, and are you putting it all over the internet, and I don't feel safe? That sort of reaction. So that's a common reaction that you may encounter in safe and responsible public locations nowadays as a direct result of the media. So as a fellow drone evangelist, what I encourage you to do is turn that into a positive. So, after you've landed and everything is safely powered off and put in your waterproof and ruggedized case, or whatever you carry your drone in, you can talk to that person. Don't raise your voice. Don't be confrontational, because they've already come across as seemingly confrontational. Just say, I want to share a little message with you today. And just start talking. And if you want to relate to the drone evangelist, that's great as well, because they can go to droneevangelist.com and become further educated about responsible and recreational drone use. Just talk to them. Say, well, I've got this camera here, and show them your camcorder or your whatever other cameras you may have. But that bird was out there. I didn't want to swim for it. Didn't have my GoPro in the waterproof housing, so I couldn't swim out and get it. I thought it would be cool to get a picture of it with this drone. Show them a picture, or show them a video. Say, this is what I just captured. And you're like, wow, that's really good detail. You're like, yeah, it is. And that bird was right there. You saw it too. And just kind of take it from that perspective. You're letting them know that this is not a weird object that's flying. It's not a thing to be afraid of. It's not someone operating it that's got criminal intent. It's just someone wanting to get a picture of a bird from a unique perspective, or a video of that bird from a unique perspective. And see, if more people begin to realize this from real-world situations, because that's the big thing with this. The media, and I'm not bashing the media, but the media they're all about buzz. And negativity sells. Sells more views, which in turn translates to more advertising, blah, blah, blah. That's how the media operates. So what you've got to do is differentiate that person's thought process from what they see on the news versus what they see in the real world, and let them experience and understand the real world examples of that technology versus what they've seen on the news. Because that's your best way to create fellow drone evangelists. Because that person is likely they're probably going to apologize, and they're going to say, ma'am or sir, whatever gender you may be, ma'am or sir, I strongly apologize for what I said earlier. I was wrong. They're probably going to say something like that. But then what's better is that they're probably going to go home and they're going to say, man, you ever see those things on the news that buzz like a bunch of bees? I saw one of those today. And the operator of it was so cool. And did you know this? Did you know that? they're going to be talking about the positive and recreational components of the technology. I say, man, I saw this bird, flew out over this bird and got this video and this photo. It was so high quality. That's the type of message that you want the masses to share. Because as they start sharing that, then you're slowly starting to create a majority population that's pro-drone hobby. Because they understand what it can do. They're no longer fearful of it. And they're sharing with their friends that are likely not familiar with it yet either. So it's just helping to get the positivity out there. And that's the only way to win. As drone hobbyists, the only way we're going to win is to create fellow drone evangelists out of promoting safe and responsible and recreational drone use. And I can't preach it more. And I will. Don't worry. Tons more sermons coming soon from the drone evangelist. Hold on one second. Yeah. Oh, okay. I'll ask right now. Thank you. Okay, it's time. It's that time of the sermon, and I'd like to again reiterate: tips are appreciated. They are not required. And Margaret, would you? Oh, thank you so much. Okay, welcome back, everyone. Thanks again. Again, tips were appreciated, but they were not required. So, just kind of jumping back into this, and it's always treat yourself as the best in your mind. Tell yourself you are the hobbyist. You drive down that road, and you see a billboard. That's your face on the billboard, saying drone safety. That's your face there, because being a fellow drone evangelist, that's the image that in your mind you tell yourself that's who you are, and that's what you will become. So when you're out, and when your friends are out, and people that you've shared the drone evangelist message with are out, all of these people come together, and in essence they're all billboards. They're billboards for responsible, safe, and recreational drone use. So we're creating a movement, and it's a movement backed by positivity. Again, never confront and never bring attention to the irresponsible drone acts you see within the media. Just spread the drone evangelist message. And in my professional opinion, this is something that will work. So again, I appreciate it, and we've got a lot more coming soon. As I'd mentioned earlier, Larry is making nice progress with the parish hall. So that component of the show should be coming up here soon. Can't wait. Maybe also some brick and mortar events throughout the world. Drone evangelist meetups. Ought to be some cool stuff. Got a lot on the plate. But most importantly, I hope this message sinks in. Share with others. Subscribe if you haven't. It's youtube.com/IRicksGuy. And the best way to get here, and the best way to, I'll just use the elevator message. You're in an elevator and you've got potentially 5 seconds. and you want to say something quickly, you say droneevangelist.com. And that's all you need to deliver. Because when you say droneevangelist.com, they know exactly how to get there, and they know how to find these sermons. So I appreciate it, and fly safely, fly responsibly, fly recreationally, and spread the drone evangelist message with the world. Because together, we can make a difference, I hope. I hope. Y'all have a good day.